Sada bih htjela da pozovem Fedora. Fedor je web grafik dizajner i video ekspert sa više od 17 godina tako iskustva u različitim start-upovima, kompanijama i uopšte dizajn agencijama, marketinškim i prosto neko koga sam želela da pozovem da podeli svoje iskustvo jer i kako online i kako offline uopšte se radu sa klijentima i uopšte nekim par saveta sa njegovog aspekta. Hvala Fedore.
Pozdrav svima. Htio bih samo da pitam pre nego što počnemo da li se slažete da bude na engleskom ili na srpskom, da ispoštujemo i strance koji su ovde ili a u Srbiji smo pa da pitam, eto. Na engleskom, dobro, ok, znači. Well, before we start, I want to explain the title that I give to this little presentation, and I want to apologize to the old freelancers that are here that I had only 3 days to create this presentation, so it is a little bit focused more about to new freelancers and their way of the experience that I have toward them, and to show them how it looks like to work 8 years in a row for freelance companies. So when I wanted to make the title for this presentation, I first thought about a glance in a freelance, like it's some sort of the rhyme, but then I thought, well, this is too simple, you know. It sounds a little bit not serious enough. So I added the lens. You probably know what is the lens. Many of you maybe heard about the spear of destiny from the Christianity. It's a spear that was hit to a rib of the Christ from the Longinus, the Roman soldier, and it changes his destiny. And so this is what I wanted to call this presentation, and I will explain later what is the lens also in the meaning of the freelance. So the first the presentation, it's not going to be like previous presentations. I'm not criticizing anything, but you know, the many presentations are about analytics, data, you know, whatever, like how many these how do you call them, like checkpoints, or the person mentioned before, connects, yeah, or whatever. I'm not following the trends on Upwork, sorry. So yeah, it's not going to be mainly about that, or some kind of special design skills, maybe a little bit, and of course also the exceptional portfolio that everyone talk about, powerful cover letter. I will talk a little bit about that, but not that much. I even think the opposite, that all these things here that are shown like underlined with are not that important. The importance in this work is persistence and luck at the end. So it gives you the reward in some way. And here we come to a sentence of the famous scientist. It says, genius, 1% talent, and 99% hard work, which is all about everything in freelance, and probably everything in life. So it's going to be a little personal story, or let's say history, because I'm like history, a little bit old, you know. And personal view, it's only my opinion. You're not gonna have to believe me, but yeah, 8 years of experience, and I think it gives some kind of value, and you will have some feeling about everything I said. So, WTF, famous sentence in abbreviation in American culture. So, what the freelance? What is it? When I started to, you know, I was working for 8 different companies before I started to work on Upwork, and first it was Odesk and Elance. And I thought, okay, now I'm not going to work from 9 to 5 anymore. I'm going to be, you know, freelancer, whatever does it mean. So I imagined the image like that, you know. So I'm going to be free. It was the excitement in me. I imagined the perfect day I will have. In the morning I will wake up, and then I will, you know, I like to exercise, I like to play guitar, so I will wake up, I will have a lunch, breakfast, then I will exercise, then I will, work for some client, then I will have a lunch, then I will play guitar, then I will work for other client, and then in the evening I will go with my friends, and yeah, it's fantasy. So it's not only fantasy for freelance, it's a fantasy also for design in freelance. Because you imagine design, I will do great designs, the clients will love me, I will prosper, I will have improvements by time. And then you encounter the truck drivers, they want the logo for their company, and they don't know much about design. And they interfere in your work. So, yeah, and this is the ideal. You have an ideal of how freelance looks like, how design looks like in the freelance. And when you pass this road, you accept this, it becomes your reality, and then you wake up. And this is what VTF. And here we come to the origin of the meaning of the lens in freelance. So, free, we all know what it's all about, but the lens. It is first made by Sir Walter Scott. His novel Alive and Home, maybe some of you read it. It is literally meaning medieval mercenary warrior. And it was after that used in the late 19th century in journalism as a coinage to describe the type of the work, the journalists, writers who wrote articles for the newspapers. And this is what when I investigated the origin of this word, I thought, this is the right stuff, Yeah, it is. I feel like mercenary. And what is mercenary? It's like no one cares about you. Or are you healthy? Are you gonna, It is different when you work with domestic companies, you work in a company, it's from 9 to 5. And then you have some relationship with the boss or director or whatever. And he asks you, okay, you can ask him, okay, I'm sick today, I can't come to work, and he will, give you the answer, no, yes, whatever. But here, there is no boss. There is a virtual person. You never met her, you never heard her, maybe. If you're in luck, you will heard her by Skype or by, even the chat. So we come to this feeling that we are mercenaries, and that we are practically cut out from the world in some way. And here I come to the point where I was struggling with two different solutions in working with clients. And we all have some questions in our heads. Am I going to work with only in design area? So, what I mean when I say design. You can translate from design to video editing, for example, or to animation, any kind of computer graphics, or maybe even programming. But it's the same sort of work. But am I going to jump to another one if I have been offered a lot of money? So, this is what the devil comes to into play, and he offers you that. And then you start working with hackers. And this is where I will mention my first experience with them. So these were Scotland hackers. They were born there, they were Pakistanians. And they offered me to work, to create false queries to a DHL and Yodel, the transportational companies. And of course, I was not directly involved in criminal, but they were offering me to create this. They have generic files, the generic executional files for Excel. And you create that, you send this to DHL or Yodel, and they respond, and okay, you're paid for that work, but they have a refund. They were selling the goods, to many countries around Europe, especially England and Scotland and Ireland. And these goods that they were selling, this pretty normal goods like technical stuff, but they were complaining to Yodel and DHL that these goods are damaged during transportation, and they got a refund of approximately £15,000 monthly. So am I doing a moral thing, you know, by working in this area? And another one, porn industry, of course. It changes your mind. It changes your mind in a way you could not believe, you know. Everyone watches porn sometime in their lives, but you know, when you work for this industry for a long time, it changes your mind. So, is it going to be worth? So let me tell you now, it's not going to be worth. Stick to your own area. And here I come to the one other point related to working in, let's say you work in any kind of area, let's say it's design, but there is a coinage also from the philosopher Erasmus from 15th century. It says, in the kingdom of the blind, one-eyed are the kings. So if you want to find a good client and do it fast, my proposal is you gotta be one-eyed person. So in the kingdom of the blind, you gotta find this golden thread that no one else in their proposals, their applications found. What I mean when I said that, it is like, for me, it was in web design, specifically, for example, the accessibility. You know, many people apply for their jobs by saying, okay, I'm a professional web designer, or I have experience 10 years, this is my portfolio, this is my CV, whatever. But they don't find this golden thread mentioned here. And this is what no one else is finding as advantage in the design they're working. Even if the client doesn't need it, you will mention this, the accessibility. Are you focusing your website or your design to people with special needs? Or they will ask yourself, okay, we're not, maybe, oh hey, this person has something that others don't have. Also the style guide, many companies do websites, they don't have even a style guide for the logo or their main identity, brand identity. Color effect from the print design or web design, you know, you cannot design tactical trading weapons if you use pink. I mean, you can, but the pink will be one line maybe. So yeah, and we come here with several different types of clients that I encounter. I divided them here in several sections, and you may notice if you're the old freelancer some of them, and I will mention my specific cases with these people. Let's start with the first one, the superficial. This is the person that has 3 big medical centers, and he has a lot of money, which is really weird why he's working with me. Even today I have a mystery in my head why he's working with me. I mean, why he's not hiring the USA graphical agency. So this person wants me to design a logo for his company, and the logo is for chiropractical disc medical center, and he wants me to design the logo. I give him the 10 different versions, 3 of them very good, 7 like not that good, but they can pass. And he says to me, I don't like anything. I want you to put the recording of the spine, Röntgen recording of the spine inside logo. And I said, okay, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. I'm going to break every graphical standard if I do this. And I tell this to him. And he, you know, he doesn't want to listen. And this is type of the client, it's superficial client. The second one, pretentious one. The client from New York wanted me to create video. Video has 7 rows. The first row is chroma key girl. A girl recorded on chroma key screen. The second one is subtitle. The third one is animation behind the girl. The fourth one is subtitles for the images used in the video that will point to the origins or references where the images were used or from what website. And there's a couple of others, but I forget what they were about. But it needs to be 3 minutes and done in 8 hours. And then I said, okay, I will try. Also the rendering counted in this time. So I will try. And then I try, and then I do it in 16 hours. And then I said to him, okay, but my hardware cannot support this. Okay, man, change the hardware. I changed the graphic card in that moment. I did it in 11 hours, but still it's not 8. And he tells to me, okay, but then you cannot work, you know. But, okay, what are you using, man? But he's using the most powerful engine with 8 cores, the new type of SSD drive called M2 that works 7 times faster than SSD drives. And, you know, 3 monitors, 34-inch or whatever, but, you know. And then, you know, you want to work with us in a freelance world, you know, where there's Indians and there's Pakistanians and there's Serbians and there's, you know, Ukrainians, and we don't have that kind of engine. Why don't you work with Americans? So pretentious. The unrealistic ones, the similar, but company you probably never heard of. It is the owner of Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, the 4,000 other restaurants, and yeah, Taco Bell, 4,000 other restaurants in America. So, very big company. And the company hires a former NASA engineer from Serbia because he has an HR agency to find people around the world, mainly Serbia, to work for the company. And we have a talk in 2 o'clock in the morning and an interview, and they were, you know, asking me questions about design. I'm a little bit tired, you know, and I say, I remember this conversation very precisely. They asked me something about design. I was very eloquent, which, you know, even surprise was for me if it was 2 o'clock in the morning. And I did a great job in answering design questions, but then they started to ask these questions like, you know, how do you feel when you do this? And how do you feel when you do that? And what does it make you feel good, you know, when you design? And I'm you know, it goes to my nerves. And okay, but the guy understands me, our guy from Serbia. It is 3 of us talking, 4 of us. And he understands me. And after the conversation, he says, okay, you've been great, but you know, for them you sound a little bit depressed. And there was another guy in the game, also from Serbia. And then we do the, you know, the other part of process. It was creating the task, answering the task to design something, some back-end application. And I do 3 different designs. The other guy does one design. And our guy says to me, okay, you were better, man. And you're better and in everything, but you know, you sound a little bit depressed to them. And okay, but you know, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, but, and then I start talking with our guy, you know, I say, listen man, I have a grandma, 96 years old, I have a mother, 70 years old, and you know, my life is not that easy, you know. You call me at 2 o'clock in the morning and they want me to sound like, you know, little birdie, whatever. But I don't sound like, so what? Yeah, this is what you're supposed to tell them. You have a grandma, 96 years old, 70-year-old mother. You care about them, you know, and you will get the job. But yeah, but this is not our way, you know. In Serbia, no one asks you about your mother, you know, and also in the main picture, in overall, no one asks you about your personal life. So how do they think, you know, this is some new wave of HR managing, you know, where they ask you these questions. But maybe it's okay, but I didn't encounter that until that day. And then I think that they were unrealistic in that sense. They were not seeing the facts. The design was good, that I was serious, that the facts tell this. And they hired the other guy, but after that they want to hire me, but I was working on another job. So, yeah, okay. An irresponsible one. A woman from New York, she has an agency, a digital agency, and has you know, couple of clients, I don't know how many, but big clients, and she hires me to do a homepage, and she has a request, it has to be done in one day, homepage with eight different sections, one site homepage for like a website with one homepage, and only one, one-page website. So I did it, and I was, you know, very fast in that, and she was very thrilled. We continued to work together. She was astounded this was so fast and that's such a good design. And she was talking, you know, all the best about my work, and I was impressed. You know, she was so open, and she paid very good, very good. And one day, after 7 or 8 days of working together, she vanishes. And I call her, I write to her, and then there's nothing for a month. I was so pissed, and I write the letter to her. You know, this is so unprofessional. Even if you are in some difficulties, you know, you can just answer one question or with one sentence. And there, after a couple of weeks, she answers to me, okay, I had a problem with my mother, she was in the hospital. Yeah, I understand all this. This is your mother okay or whatever, but one sentence, you needed to write just one sentence. So irresponsible. And with all these persons, I want to go back to the beginning. Today I work with some of them, and this is, you know, many people would say, oh yeah, to hell with them, you know, I don't want to work with these people. But patience, you got to be patient with them. For example, this person, the first one I mentioned, that is very superficial, through time he learned about some stuff, he started to listen to me. Even today he sometimes doesn't listen, but I said, okay man, if you think it's, you can do it your own way by hire someone else, but for other works I will do it for you. And so the most important thing in these matters is patience, of course. Also, if you think, you know, you were, for example, the unrealistic one here, the persons they were giving us this task, it lasted for 2 days, but, you know, you would think, my God, but first the competition, between us lasted for 2 weeks. I know, several interviews or whatever. And in the end, they paid $5,000 for 2 days of work, which is, you know, it's like, you know, why would you pay that? I mean, no one pays it, but they wanted to sound serious. They're a serious company, so they wanted to compensate their stupidity, I think, in some way. Yeah, the unrealistic one. The video editing company, pretentious one, he also paid a good amount, so I bought the, you know, the hardware he mentioned, not all of them that he was using, but so yeah, patience and then the reward. And here we come to a point where the creating best portfolio and cover letter, and why, if you ask me, it doesn't matter. Okay, it has to be good, you know. It has to be sound professional, sound profound. But when I remember my first cover letter, it was too long. You know, I was under the impression that if I start writing, okay, you know, the client job post was like, you know, I want you to build a website with a home page, with a landing page, whatever, and then the brief. And if you start letter with I am professional designer and I'm also a video editor or whatever, I have this degree, this and that, and I had these clients. And only in the fourth sentence you mention the problems of the client and how will you resolve them, it's not going to work. So mine was too long. I was under the impression if I say everything I know, I will get the job because, you know, I know many things, so why not getting the job, you know? And then I mentioned stuff he doesn't care about. For example, I am a web designer, but you know, I can do a video editing, and I put 20 links below my letter. So he doesn't care about. He wants the homepage design. So I need to put only one link, or maybe several related to previous homepages. So it was too long. It was not to the point. And there is a case when you can do this, exactly. And this is where the companies are using HR managers, because they are reading what you write. But the clients are not reading, if they are the owners or directors. They want exact thing, but the HR managers are looking someone in the long run and a full-time employment, so they will read these long letters where you will say, I'm good in this that you described, but I know also this stuff. And portfolio. Yeah, why it doesn't matter to build a good portfolio in a freelance network web. In a freelance network, I'm not saying the external one. So now that I saw that the Upwork has this specialized portfolio, I think maybe it's something good in that, because you can create different one. I was not following this. This is the great thing. But for example, in my website, I have sections: web design, graphic design, digital painting, you know, video editing, animation, whatever, and subsections of subsections. So if you ask me, you want to hire a person that is building web banners, or the landing pages, or the Facebook applications, I will give you exactly these 3 links: web banners, applications, landing pages, nothing else. So this is what you can do in some way in networking portfolio, but not that good, I think. So they even, you know, many clients will ask you, okay, do you have some website that I can see all this? Because in the networking portfolio, it's all a little bit mixed up, you know. You have a logo as the best logo you design, then you have your video. And, you know, person that hires you for logo, why does she care about video, you know? So my proposal for all of you that are starting, build the external portfolio that you will link to a networking portfolio in any way you think is the best. And after all this created, you know, the long wait. And the long wait, from my perspective, now that I see, was not that long, because working with domestic companies, you get a job, you know, you work a couple of years, then you lost the job, then you wait 2 years again to get another job. But in these cases, maybe 2 months, maybe a month. My sister started to work lately, and she, when I started to work on the Upwork Freelance, I got my first job, I think maybe 2 months, after 2 months or something like that. But she get the new job in 1 week. So it is a little bit of luck. It's not for everyone the same. And yeah, I'm with patience, and it is a little bit like roulette, you know. And there will be a final moment for me. It's something that I made. I mean, it's not something important, but the final moment is the moment when you realize that according to brief, you will get this client, you know. He is it's exactly compatible with you. You see in his brief that if you answer this brief, they will get you, you know. And if you target clients like this all the time and drop down other ones, I think it will be the good way for you to start a good business with online freelance. And yeah, a little bit paradoxical title. You're listening to me, and you don't need you're why not trusting me and anyone else? I mean, you can check it yourself, of course. But many times I listening to freelancers and even the people in the real world talking about design and earning, especially earning in design and the programming, development, whatever. You will hear the gossip, and this is mainly from insecure people with complexes. You gotta see this, because if it is like watching the people's lives on Facebook. They're all ideal, like they are living in some land of fantasy, and bragging, exaggerating. Like a couple of years ago, there was a person, I really remember precisely. The person was saying we were together talking, and he was saying, man, should I go with $25 an hour, or shall I stay in this 18? I'm not sure. And at that time, I was earning, for example, $20 an hour, $16 an hour for some jobs. You know, and designers, yeah, you're satisfied with that. Maybe in video editing is better, development programming much better, of course. But he was saying about $25, and then okay, how much is he earning? He really got luck with this client, you know. And then after maybe 6 months or 5 months, I see him at the domestic competition for a graphic designer that the pay was $600. So if he's earning $25 an hour, he will earn this in 3 days. Why would he need to apply for the job for $600 a month? So, yeah, exaggerating and bragging. And also with the YouTube, you know, many people go with you know, I will create a YouTube channel, and then I will put these videos there, and I will, in a couple of months, I will monetize, become a millionaire, and this is what every you know, a young person thinks about. And of course, it's not reality. There's a SEO, there's a special kind of creating videos and attracting people to a backlinking to a YouTube channel and whatever. So don't listen that much. I mean, you listen, but you don't take it for granted, you know. And the problem that I think no one talks about that much, problem is related to, I mean, maybe not that much for people that are living with families, you know, and or having the partner, but you know, if you're living with partner, but I was not, so I will talk about these problems in the left column and yeah, positive things in the right one. The left one, it is also in freelancing, there's some kind of little fear from time to time, you know, you encounter, and there you're asking yourself, I spent 80%, sometimes 80% of time looking for a job and only 20–30% of working the job. And it creates some kind of anxiety, also because if you know, you're hard to work 8–9 hours a day, and you work with already that I mentioned, the clients that are, it is good when they have a Skype connection. For example, team briefings, where you talk with other people. Even a little bit of chatting is not that bad, you know, but if you're cut and you have a spreadsheet with the tasks and you do only that, you don't know, you know maybe some of your co-workers, but you never saw them, you never listened to them. You're cut from the reality. You work all day alone. Okay, you play some music, but whatever. It is not, you go outside, you go to grocery store, and someone asks you something, and your brain is cut. Yeah, it lasts for 30 minutes, but longer you work, many years, you start this, you encounter this alienation from reality. It brings a little bit of depression at some point. Will it change? Is this going to be like this forever? And I'm not saying after 3–4 years. It must be longer, you know. For me, it was almost 8 years, I think, in a row. So, but there's a positive point, of course. Thrill, learning new things. You learn from other, people from other cultural backgrounds, other countries, other nations, and of course, earning money, living better in some way. Yeah, new teams, every time new team, new tasks, improvement in some way. And something that I worked previously for domestic companies, something that I never had. Maybe in some cases a little bit, but self-value. Because these people, if they're gonna not say it to you directly, they're gonna leave a feedback that will say, this was a great worker, you know, the great contractor. He did it very fast and very good. And yeah, you get your appreciation and gratitude from these clients, and even in many co-workers, you know, that you don't have in domestic. So this is a very positive thing for me. And yeah, I think it's the end. You may ask something if you want, of course. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I think it was inspiring and very realistic. I have a question. I need an advice. Maybe there are some other people who will need it. For example, I can help companies with general marketing consulting. So it's something which is very difficult to present on a platform like this. I always say designers, web designers, video producers have something to show. The things we have and we can show, we cannot really show because they're usually confident. So to cut it brief, what advice would you give? How to present on Upwork if you have general skills like this? So not something, I mean, you have something to show, but not something you can show.
It's like confidential.
Yes, and how to build trust in a situation like this, where, as you said, luck is important, persistence is important. I'm satisfied with my offline work for many clients, but online on Upwork, I cannot be successful at all.
Yeah, a little bit harsh question, but maybe building a web portal with a login, where you will, at the homepage, reveal all that is necessary for people to know, for the client to know. And then when you, I mean, it's a little bit simple when you say it like that, but when you start to get more confident in that client, you will give him the password to a brief knowledge inside of what you do. But other than that, maybe signing the agreement before. Many people do it. I did it several times for other companies. I mean, you probably have some invention or something because you were saying no. But this is confidential because it will reveal the, well,
and marketing strategy and blah, I want to support the people. You cannot really show that. You can say, okay, but it's bragging, and I don't like my word for this, but he doesn't care.
Yes.
So you can build trust in this way in the offline world, but on Upwork, I think it's hard. I don't know if someone...
Yeah, it is. I had with my friend, I had a startup related to, and even today I had it, I never sold it. It is related to building on, because I worked 7 years for Mozart Bet company, our domestic company. We built an online betting portal that was much better than, you would not believe it. I mean, it sounds like bragging, but it was much better than the Mozart has, because the people from Mozart that were not working anymore there created the much better engine for online betting. So we tried to sell this stuff to many, one American, one person from Monte Carlo. And it's very hard in this specific area of expertise because all people know each other. It is hard to enter. And even today, it was not implemented anywhere. Many people listen to us. We were talking many years with many people. And if it's something that is really not wide, but low area of, specific area of expertise, when there's not a lot of people that know that then it is hard to build the trust, especially that we are, how we sound when it's when they say it's from Serbia, unfortunately. And then, but I mean, connecting to people, foreigners that want to help and that want to build, even giving them, in this case, 90%, like an angel investor, 90% of earnings, if you think you can, with your 10% for your product or... Yeah. In Upwork it is hard because... Upwork is not for
business. I thought so, that's again...
But, and maybe even changing the name of the companies, like, you point out that these are invented names, but real companies. Maybe it is interesting too.
Data, you give material, but with other data.
Yes, of course. Even in this case, when we had an executive summary for the project, we were pointing out the case study. We didn't hide the company names. Why? We were working that company. So we know the statistic data with the Motorbet, Planet Win, or other companies, So we pointed out, they were building the empires in this area, and but it's hard for people to believe. It all sounds like, when you say to people, okay, this company has 400 people, but I have a software that will shrink this to 15. But you have. Then it is hard to, they don't want. Also, the problem is that in many cases, if you build something great, you need to find a person that will understand it. How, for example, many investors don't understand these things. You have an investor that has 20 millions, but he doesn't know anything about online software for betting, or even how this functions. So it is hard. I mean, I understand completely why you have this problem, because.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you too. So, okay.
Thank you very much for sharing. Very interesting, insightful. I would like to ask a general question. So what happens generally if the client's assessment of the duration of work does not even mention your duration? He says, oh, it will last 8 hours, but in actual fact it takes, I don't know, 16 hours.
So, yeah, well, you saw my example that he wanted me to last 8 hours, but it was not possible. Well, maybe the resolvement would be a fixed price, but I don't like these resolvements and solutions, because it's always more than you will save. So the hourly base, working per hour, is the most beneficial for you in any case. So I know, sorry. Most fair one, yes. And even with this software that Upwork has, with the screen capture, it is he can see what you're working on. So, but yeah. Yeah, this is the other solution, but I don't know. These are the harsh clients. You gotta explain to a client this is not possible. Or you can watch it yourself. Yeah, it's not possible to estimate in many cases. 99% of cases, I think. I heard many people here that I saw today that they are saying it's a little bit hard for me to charge the correspondence. But why? It is taking your time. Why wouldn't you? I'm doing video editing, and then I don't want to charge him that I wrote him an email. But why? It's your time. He's paying the time. He's not paying only your skills, but all skills in everything. You're talking to him in English, or I don't know, in German or whatever. So he's paying your knowledge in English. He's paying your knowledge in correspondence in some way, eloquence in terminology. So why wouldn't he pay? So I don't know. Maybe fixed price would resolve this, but it is.
For a rendering time, to render 2 hours, and you're not clicking anything, it also says you are
Well, the client is making you a problem about that. Well, I don't know. Yeah, this is the problem with the client. He doesn't understand how this functions. The resolvement would be maybe to send him your configuration. But yeah, you can, mock up your configuration. But it would be, fair if you would turn on your computer via TeamViewer and show him this is the computer where I work on. Maybe he will get some confidence in you. So if you have a 4-core processor and you don't have SSD drive, then rendering time for you is, or you say to him, okay man, I have this configuration, this is the rendering time for me. If he doesn't want to talk about it, then I'm not sure how to resolve this problem. This is also with the people working with audio, you know, leading some post YouTube, how they say it, like YouTube channels that are practically podcasts, radio podcasts. So what is it? You're not clicking anything, you're listening, you're changing the sound level, so checking if everything is okay, but not clicking anything. So also with rendering, I must say that I don't have problem with people, that never had problem with this, you know, but you know, there's many things involved here. For example, what about real preview rendering during work? I mean, you're waiting for something, you have 8 lines in a row to render in just one frame, I mean. So the explanation, patience. But I know, yeah, it is a harsh problem. Maybe I will remember later. Some. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, according to no, of course, when you apply for a job on Upwork, you can change your, you have the, yes. Well, I think that they're not watching that much the usual rate on the profile. They're watching the proposal rate. So you gotta, if you have a good, you know, profile, in some cases you can see how many people apply for this job and what is the, or for the client, what is the, if he's charging $25 per hour for all his clients, you gotta, you know, but you gotta count that he was working with developers also, so the price is $50 per hour, 60, 100, and there is a price for the Indians, or that creating hundreds of logos in 1 hour, that is $1 or $2 an hour, and the middle one is 25. So, and yes, but this is not a question. Yeah, you can. But I think watching the other people's quotes also is good. You know, maybe checking other profiles from other freelancers or checking the middle price on the market. Yeah, it would be good too, you know. Don't or underestimate your knowledge. You know. Okay.
I have a question. How do you charge your rendering times when manually allowed hours manually adding hours are not allowed? Because I charge my rendering time, it's my machine working, it's not me, but how do you charge it in that case?
I must say that in my case the clients understand it. He sees nothing is moving, but it's rendering, the line is going.
Yes, but when you have the count of the time measuring machine works, whatever it's called.
Okay.
After 10 minutes it stops to count time if there is no activity on the screen.
I don't have this problem. I mean, it's counting still time. With, you know, if it's even an hour or two. I mean.
No, the clock.
The clock stops.
Stops after 10 minutes.
In the Upwork team, is the application for checking time.
Yes.
I didn't know that because today I'm not today, but a month ago I worked with this. You know, it was not stop. Didn't stop. You know, the rendering goes.
It does after 10-15 minutes of inactivity. It stops with pauses.
This is some technical problem. You may be asking them. I'm not sure. It should be.
No, I have no really.
So no screen saver was turned on. Yeah. Maybe there's something in checking of the monitors, because you know that you can have screen capture of different monitors, but I'm not sure.
No, it's not.
There's no settings in the application.
I'm on Upwork. I mean, no Odesk from Odesk.
Yeah.
I'm not first timer or something. I'm doing this since 2003, but after 15 minutes of inactivity, the clock stops measuring time.
Well, I don't know. Last summer, I was working on some rendering that was lasted for many hours, and even at the end, it was it was so many hours that the client said, "Okay, man," but
2 years ago.
so it changed during time. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. This is something. Yeah, they probably changed it because of that reason. Maybe there was malversation or something, but it needs to be. I'm not sure. It was them.
Have enough time, we will answer it if you don't mind. Yeah, because we have the guys for the community team, and they're actually the guys doing all the social networks and the community and the forums. So those are the guys actually literally to all of your questions. So please use the opportunity that we have him there, have him here. So, and also I'm here and the rest of the team. So just in order to have everything on time. Fedore, hvala ti puno. Thank you so much. Thank you.